Hello dear World of Warcraft friends, welcome back to a new video on my channel. Today we're going to look at a topic that some of you have requested. Is it worth leveling through time-walking dungeons, or is there a better alternative? We'll take a closer look at this question in this video. Holy recently launched something new, and it's especially for the coffee lovers among you, because Holy is releasing 3 new coffee milkshakes. First, we have coffee latte. I already got to try all the flavors and they really taste absolutely amazing. Then we have caramel coffee with an owl on it. World class, super cute. That's my second favorite, and the best one for me is the hazelnut coffee. I love hazelnut and it tasted really good. Again, it contains natural caffeine. There are good ingredients in it and it really tastes very delicious. It's very refreshing. There are also new milkshake bundles and sampler bundles that are discounted, and with the code G610 you can save another 10. Check the link in the video description. Enjoy Holy. Now let's get back to the video. One thing I can say up front, for those who don't feel like putting much thought into it, time walking is all in all the best option. That has to be said clearly at this point. For those who, however, if you want to be even faster, I would actually say there are better alternatives. But as I said, we'll just take a look at that in this video. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel. If you don't want to miss anything, I would really appreciate it. And with that, let's get started. Ultimately, and I already showed you that in the video, and I also tested it, time walking isn't necessarily the fastest way to level up. So we can see it here now. We started at a bit more. We started at about 2.5 bars. We'll see at the end of the dungeon where we end up. But factually speaking, the fastest way is to follow this route from Haldan. He made an add-on called Follow the Arrow, and it tells you what you need to do to reach level 90 as quickly as possible. It's a wild mix of, quests and updates and other stuff. But all in all, it's based on you doing activities that were buffed in patch 12.0. And here we're talking, for example, about the one-time quests for the delves and so on. What order should you do that in? There's just so much, it's best if you just download the add-on. But in fact, that's the fastest way to get to level 90. That won't change. Time walking isn't bad either. Time walking definitely has its advantages. But he managed to reach max level in 1 hour and 38 minutes. You can't do that with time walking. Well, at least not with randoms. You'd need to have a really awesome group for that. A regular group that queues for one dungeon after another. And even then, you probably wouldn't be able to match that time. We're talking about times of 15 minutes, 10 minutes per level. Yeah. But realistically, with random groups, it's more like 20 to 25 minutes per level. So that doesn't change compared to the previous expansions. I've tested that several times already. That's the standard value you can expect. Nevertheless, even for those who want to take this alternative path from Haldan, time walking is still worth it. Because starting this week you get a buff that gives you 30% more XP after completing 5 time walking dungeons. And let me put it this way, these instances are relatively quick to complete. Even if you say, I really don't feel like doing time walking to level up because I've done them way too often, you should probably still get this buff. It's 30% more XP, you only have to do 5 dungeons. That's why my recommendation at this point is log in, make sure you get rested so that your bar down here is blue. Then you also get basically double the XP for killing mobs. And then the first thing you should do is get the 4 stacks from the time walking dungeons. It's just, how should I say, too good to pass up. You shouldn't ignore it. And you can see now we've been in this dungeon for 4 minutes so far. Yeah, we're almost at the second boss. The left side is a bit faster than the right side where we are right now. So I think we'll be able to finish this dungeon in about 12 or 13 minutes. Something like that, more or less. And then that doesn't look too bad at all. So I'd estimate about an hour. You should factor that in until you have the buff. And then you can get started. I would make an exception if you're already, I don't know, level 89. Of course, it doesn't make sense anymore to level that thing up to stack it up. Just do whatever you feel like. Get yourself the final level and that's it. Theoretically, it's the same if you're level 88. Before you can fully use this buff for anything, you'll already reach level 90 just by doing the time walk dungeons. Nevertheless, in my opinion, it's a big advantage to level up here compared to the regular dungeons. We already made a comparison about that. For one thing, it's the completion XP. Now, at the end of the dungeon here with level 84, and I don't even have the XP bonus yet. And I only have 20 from the war pack. But now we're getting 112,000 XP here. If you compare that to a regular dungeon from Midnight, it's 74,000. That's a huge difference. And like I said, if we stack up all the percentages here, this difference will get even bigger. I also always get the feeling that, but that's just a personal feeling. I can't verify that 100%. It could also be that it's anecdotal evidence, like Dents, but I still have the feeling that time block dungeons are also much easier than the dungeons from a current expansion. I mean, look at how we're pulling here. The dude is pulling all the trash mobs we have and is pulling them onto the boss now. As a healer, I can still do damage most of the time and nobody cares because everything just dies. So that's another reason. It's very, very easy because you don't have to think about anything except, oh, a mob, I'll hit it, I'll kill it, and you will most likely have fewer problems with all of this in time block dungeons than, for example, when questing, for example. I don't know. In the other dungeon runs, you basically can't die here, it feels like. So also, yeah, when I know that I'm the healer right now and it's kind of in my hands whether someone dies here, the whole thing is just incredibly simple. Yeah, I let people's health drop a little sometimes. But even here, mainly because I know they won't die. In my eyes, that's another big advantage. And as we can see here, we've leveled up about 2 bars so far. On my second channel, we actually tested on the side how well these normal dungeons from Midnight work. There, as a reward, we only got about 2 bars of XP. It really wasn't worth it at all. So there, if anything, we ended up with a total of 2.5 bars. Here, the whole thing is already more worthwhile. And that's a point where I have to say I don't really understand why Blizzard, in this case, takes so-called old content and makes it so much better than the current content. Yes, it's a new time walk, so they are interested in people playing it, but what I mean is, even at the start of an expansion, it's actually always more efficient to run time walks. Because you get such good XP from it, and in the end, that's what matters. No idea. It doesn't hurt your pride, let's put it that way, because it's just easier. On the other hand, if you start directly with Midnight and run the normal dungeons, it's okay, you can do it, but they take longer, give you less XP, and that's what I meant. Actually, Blizzard should be interested in people running the newer content rather than necessarily doing time walking, but maybe there's something else involved, or maybe there's some crucial point that I've missed here. So, and with that, we've reached the final boss. We've now gained about 3 bars of XP by killing monsters a little less in roughly 11 or 12 minutes, something like that. But you also have to realize that the efficient thing about time walking dungeons isn't the XP you get from killing monsters, but rather the completion XP at the end of a dungeon. That's what makes leveling here so good. And now you'll see we jump from 52 up to bam, 80, even 81. So on top of that, just from the completion XP, there's a juicy extra 30% on top. That means with one dungeon, yeah, we've made about, I'll just say 60% XP. It's a little less, but I didn't look at it closely beforehand or remember exactly what we had there. And yeah, that would mean theoretically I could still turn in this quest here. There's a little bit more XP for that, but it's a one-time thing, so we won't count that. Yeah, you can definitely level up with time walks, especially if you stack this buff high, as you can see here. You can definitely, I don't know, get a level in about 15 minutes. 15 to 20 minutes, but as you can see, it doesn't quite compare to the 1 hour and 30 minutes that Haldan needed for a total of 10 levels. But I still think it's a nice way to level up because it's just super straightforward, and doesn't really cause any big problems. Not having to think can actually be pretty nice sometimes. With that said, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, see you in the next video. Have a great time and take care.